Hey, that worked way better. Nothing broke, and it lifted the kind of 9.5 kilo test chassis. I mean, before it started to tilt itself, it did actually do that lifting, and everything is still fine. Ah, incredible. Okay, so let's look at how that happened, why that happened, and get the robot back together again before the next fight it needs to be in. Hello everybody, I am Ben from Team Panic. So the how is actually pretty easy. In the past, like when I used this particular gear motor, which is now broken, I put a 1-to-1 gear set between it and the output arm, applying all of that torque to this gearbox, which is not rated for the massive amount of load that it takes to lift a 13 kilo robot at 30 centimeters away from your pivot point. So this thing broke, and a lot of other solutions I tried to put into that system also broke, because there is a lot of torque on a 1-to-1 gear set like that, and that is just no good for applying that torque through. So this time around, as you saw in that clip very briefly, we are now using a different set of gears. This is a 3-to-1 set of Hardox gears, which necessitates a slightly faster gearbox at 188.6 to 1. This means not all of the torque of lifting the robot is actually happening inside the gearbox, which allowed the gearbox to survive this time. So good. That worked so much better. As well as changing up those gears, I also put some tiny little shims underneath the sway bar mounts I use as bearings to hold the actual lifting arm mechanism. This basically means that the outer metal piece does not clamp down as hard, and therefore the shaft actually rotates a lot smoother inside the bore than it did without those shims in place. So the combination of the Hardox gears, less friction out of my bearing surfaces, and a faster gear motor mean we actually get a lift out of this thing. Now in the slow-mo, you can see that at the very end of the lift, the arm falls back down. That is because at this time, this kind of like temporary build I did to work out if the whole system would even work at all, or if it would do the same thing as here and snap a gearbox. The arm was just floating free, which means that those gears can move side to side, and that is what happened. As the robot fell back down, the arm moved sideways, disconnecting the two gears, and the arm just fell to the ground. That is something we can absolutely fix as we rebuild the robot. But to do the rebuild, we first need to actually tear the whole thing down. Yes, the drive base is good and it was a good tester, but we need to actually put a floor in the thing. So we're going to start by taking off the sway bar mounts, because they are kind of the first big piece of kit to get out of the way. Then of course we take off the drive system, and then finally rip off all the tape that I was using as a kind of temporary placeholder floor to allow all my electronics to not be sitting on bare Hardox, which is just a bad idea. To start the rebuild, we are going to put a new floor in. The last time I did this, I used really thin cutting board material, which shattered every time it got hit. So this time we're actually using 1.5mm HDPE. This is really only to fill in the gaps, and hopefully it doesn't get hit. It's really not that strong. It's, like I said, mostly just to fill in the gaps and give my electronics some place to sit. This is cut a couple of different times. First to add the holes for the wheels, and then also to add little notches that allow the tack welds at the edge of the frame to kind of fit in place without having to grind them all out. And then figured the easiest way to get all the bolt holes into it that I needed was just to clamp it in place and drill it a whole bunch of times using the Hardox as a guide, and this worked absolutely flawlessly. I am definitely going to do this again if I need to. Once it was cut and drilled, it needed to be mounted in place. I did this with some contact adhesive off camera. This build was a very, very rushed process, as a lot of my builds tend to be, especially coming up to Havoc, which is where Strange Young Man is going to fight. This contact adhesive was left to set overnight, and then I clamped it further in place using some cable ties. Next up, it was time to put on a new battery box. Because the last time we fought Strange Young Man, we realized that the drive system really shouldn't be on anything over about 4S. I'm now going to run a split system in the robot. That means 4S for the drive and 6S for the weapon. That necessitates a much bigger battery box to hold both of those batteries. I also then decided to update my switches. The old one seen here on the very right was absolutely massive and really didn't need to be. That's kind of a heavyweight size switch, and I needed something a little bit smaller, especially fitting two of them in the robot, so I made two brand new, smaller, more featherweight size switches. And I might actually do a video on these in the future. If you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments down below. I do just want to test them out just that little bit more before I release them publicly and, you know, go in detail about how I made them and what's inside them. Because I like to make sure things are going to work before I like show you how to do that and build that yourself. Once that new battery box is in, we just bolt down our drive system again, and it's onto the weapon system. Now, in the testing that you saw, we were using a big 3D printed part to hold the weapon motor down, and that's just not going to cut it for a full fight, especially that one because it was PLA. So the first really big shot inside the arena, and that thing's going to crack and break everywhere. So we needed something a little bit better, and I decided to make this out of aluminium angle, mostly because it's what I had on hand and it's something that I've used a lot before. So this was cut out of stock, and then I had to cut off a little corner as well, just to give clearance for where the axle goes through. Once that was cut, it was drilled everywhere it needed to be drilled, including a big clearance hole to fit the kind of faceplate of the gearbox through. And then the screw holes for the faceplate were countersunk so that those could be as flat as possible and not interfere with the gear that goes on the motor shaft. With that done, it's time to assemble the weapon back onto the robot, and so this is again started by putting in place our sway bar mounts. Once those are in though, you can also see that I've got some TPU rings on the arm, and these are like clamps, like TPU clamps. The idea with these was they were going to be bolted up tight, and then they should stop the arm from moving left and right. However, you can see the first attempt at this really did not work very well. Just the TPU on its own, you could still push them back and forth by hand, which is absolutely rubbish. Hitting another robot or something hitting into the side is going to put way more force on there than just pushing those back and forth by hand. To fix this issue, I used double-sided tape underneath them. This just gives a lot more grip and force in that particular space. I then tested this by smacking the back with a rubber mallet. It moved a little bit, but not really a lot, so I figured that was going to be good enough. Later on, I did actually end up putting a couple of drops of super glue behind this as well, which I'm probably gonna have to grind off after everything is all done, but I figured it was worth the attempt at the very least, just to kind of shore those up that little bit more. With all that back together, it's time to look at the armor. In the past, I've used all sorts of different armor, including thin aluminium, thin sign board, which is aluminium and plastic sandwiched together, and of course HDPE. In this particular build, we're going for a full HDPE armor package with 10mm front and back, and then 5mm for the sides. This is of course just regular white HDPE, but I have managed to find a technique for painting it. Again, that is something I'm going to do a tutorial about in the future. This armor is all bolted together at the corners with some just steel corner brackets from the hardware store. I've cut these down a little bit so that they don't interfere with the Hardox base plate in the robot. And it's literally just a process of making a box almost. Once the box is made, it gets slot over top of the rest of the build and bolted on with some 8mm hardened steel bolts. At this point, it was the night before the event, and I ran out of time to really film too much. I realized fairly quickly that the new gears were slightly too big and they were interfering with the lid, so I ended up cutting a slot in the aluminium lid, basically just by drilling some really big holes and then opening that back out with a Dremel and the file. This gave me just enough space for the gear to actually spin and not foul up against anything, which meant that, you know, it was actually going to lift things maybe in the arena. That hole was eventually covered with just some little black TPU squares that I'd printed with some little like bolt-ish kind of greeblies on them to make them look a little bit more kind of robotic. I also put one on either side just to balance out the whole look of the robot. With that, it was time to go to the weigh-in, and we came in underweight at 12.8 kilos, which is good because if I ever want to run the hammer mechanism again for this robot, all that extra weight can just go into the hammer, and that is going to be perfect. And with that, it was time to do safeties, and actually the safeties went really well. Strange Young Man was moving mostly fairly well. There was a little bit of a drift to the left, which I kind of figured out what it was later on, and we'll talk about that in a fight report at a later date. But also the weapon worked really well, everything kind of moved and safetied as it needed to. So, Strange Young Man is finally back together and actually maybe going to lift something. This new gear mechanism seems to do the job very well, and really all we now need to do is test it against an actual opponent. I will also say, because I got called out for it in the last video about Strange Young Man, I did go into this tournament with 6 spare wheels. Normally I would not prioritize building wheels, and I'd run out of time and I'd go in with maybe the 2 spare that I've got in my hand, but no, this time around I went in with an absolute stack of spare wheels just in case anything went wrong. Speaking of, if you want to see how Strange Young Man did, that is going to be in the next video. We're going to do a fight report for Strange Young Man at Havoc for 2025. So if you want to see that, please subscribe and keep an eye out for that video, probably in about a week's time. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed that one, and I will see you in the next video.